Good luck, Joe.
Dressed as DiMeo. My story starts out, I was doing my night shift job. I worked in a lab testing food products, and I just overworked myself that night. It was a typical shift. I got 5 hours of sleep, which I thought was normal. And getting 5 hours of sleep is not normal. But I just turned 20. So like I had the energy and all that stuff, but just like clocked in that night. Then my average shift was like testing food products like magnesium, potassium, things like that, like the pH balance, all that stuff. And it gets kind of complicated after a while, but I kind of forgot it because I haven't done it in like over 5 years now. I haven't done it, so kind of forgot the job. But yeah, just I clocked out of work, driving back home, which was like a 10-minute drive. I fell asleep at the wheel. My car veered off to the side of the road, hitting a curb. It flipped a couple of times and caught on fire. The reason for the fire is because I had long tube headers, and if you guys know what that is, it's just a modification that hangs lower on the engine to make the car loud and stuff like that. And so that scraped the curb, which created a spark, and the oil pan cracked at the same time. And sparks and oils don't mix too well, and that's the reason why I caught on fire. Good Samaritan jumped over the barrier, pulled me out halfway through the car, and I was on the side of the road, all burnt up and pretty bad. I don't remember it at all. I just go off what people around me said. My coworker was there at the time, so he gave me like a pretty in-depth like seeing what he saw, which was pretty interesting. And so it took the ambulance about like 2 minutes to get there. It's pretty impressive, especially being on Route 22. And so got into the hospital. I was in a coma for 3.5 months, medically-induced coma. While I was in the coma, they did about, I feel like 19 to like 20 skin grafts, and that's just for like they take like healthy skin that was on my body and just put it all over the place so I don't have any burnt skin on me. And then they took like a small cell sample from a good piece of my skin, sent it off to like Kentucky University or some type of university out over there. And they basically took that cell and stretched it out like pizza dough and wrapped it around my left calf because I didn't have enough healthy skin left to like have a leg. So it was either do that or get it chopped off, and I guess my mom picked the second part, so not get it chopped off. And the only downfall to that is it takes 8 to 9 months to heal. And so while I was in the coma, it was healing, staying dry. Then after the coma, my mom had to take care of it. And then, so I was in the coma for 3.5 months, getting all the surgeries done 2 a week, which is kind of rare. But since I was young, I went to the gym a lot too. That helped me out a lot. I went in the hospital weighing 200 pounds. Like mostly muscle, I'd say, a little love handles going on, but mostly muscle. And I woke up from the coma at 170 pounds. So all that hard work from like junior year all the way up to that time, like working out, just went out the door and just one accident. So that was like a huge gut punch, just losing all that. And when I woke up, I wasn't able to do a crunch at all, just lay there. And it took about 5 people just to help me stand up, which is a lot because, the nurses are small, PTs are like limited there. So it was a whole like ordeal just to have me sit up from the side of the bed and stand up for like 30 seconds, and that felt like a full-on 2-hour workout just to stand. So like, that was a huge like gut punch, just all that at once. Just can't stand, can't do a crunch. Need people around you 24/7 just to help you. So that's like it's a sad moment. I never got depressed or nothing like that. Never had anxiety or depression. I was pretty happy for. So like I don't count being sad for like a week or 2 depression. So like I was sad for a while, but never got down to that point. But like it just kept me going though. just like, I don't want to be in a hospital at all. It's not a fun place in the hospital, especially when you can't eat, because the speech therapist there is like, you can't eat until you leave. So I'm just on IV fluids the whole time. And like, meanwhile, my parents are bringing in food, and that's all you can smell is the food that they bring in for the nurses. And I can't eat none of it. So that's motivation to get out, was food, to see my dog Buster too. Because before I got to the accident, I got a dog, like 6 months old. And 2-3 months later, I got to the accident. So I didn't get to see him grow up in a way. For about 4 or 5 months, I didn't see him. So that's motivation, trying to get back to him. And it took like half a month for me to start walking. I would say about like stair to stair, I was able to walk like in half a month. And that's a lot in the PT's eyes in the hospital, but that wasn't a lot for me. Then I got sent off to rehab, and that's not fun. Because when you're 80% burned, going to a rehab for old people, they don't know how to treat like a burned person. So that went backwards there. And that's a dumb punch, because you go in there walking, and then midway through you get back in a wheelchair. So my dad made some phone calls, and they got a whole bunch of new nurses and basically a new staff around me to like help me get out of the rehab, obviously. And then so another like 2 months in the rehab, which it only should have been a month in rehab, but it ended up being 30.5 in a rehab facility, just trying to walk again. I had left the rehab facility, walked, and basically from like stair to stair again. And so like I went home, back to my parents' house, walking from stair to stair. So that's good in like medical sense, but it wasn't good enough for me again. So now I'm back at my parents' house, which is a bummer for me, because at 18 I moved out and was doing my own thing, had my own apartment. So I moved back into my parents' house and basically laid on the couch for a long time. And I'm not a couch potato. I like to do things. I like to be out, really independent. And so while I was on my parents' couch, they just, my dog Buster was there, so like my motivation was there. And yeah, I had my down moments a lot, because you're just laying in bed watching Netflix. Everything's getting paid for you, so like, it gets comfortable, and to me, that's not good. When you get comfortable, things start to go bad. And I went backwards. My back and my knees start opening up again, so like it'll cut open because of my skin grafts. And so basically, I couldn't be able to walk again, basically. So I had like limp around all the time. So like a lot of lotion, and then wound healing from my mom, and she's not a nurse on top of that, she's just a mom. And so I'm going back to St. Barnabas, so that's a hospital in, I think, Short Hills, or the town over there. And just doing rehab there, and it's like a half an hour drive. I think like every other day I was going there. And like after a while, I stopped. I was able to walk farther and farther. I got my strength back. But it wasn't to like my extent I would want to. So while I'm trying to work out all those things, I had to go back to my Jersey plastic surgeon, and he basically told me there's nothing more he can do. I have no more healthy skin. You're basically done with your burns. But he knows a guy in New York City, Dr. Rodriguez, who performed my surgery. So he sent out a bunch of pictures and videos, and Dr. Rodriguez reached out to me about like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, telling me to come in. He did more checkups on me. As soon as I met him, I liked him. He was really humble, and he's not a doctor. Like, he's not the Dr. Ego kind of guy. He's just a guy to me. So that played a huge factor, because I wouldn't want to work with someone who had that ego and just that arrogance, because a lot of doctors have that for a reason. He was super humble. Told me, as soon as I met him, he told me I can die. There was 2 before me. The first one passed me on the table, and the second one, the hands failed. The second one is more famous. She got attacked by a chimpanzee back in like mid-2000s, and like her face and hands got all messed up. That was back when I was in middle school that happened, so that's how I know that one. But her hands failed. That's why I say I'm the first successful one. Because so far, nothing failed so far. It's just swollen. But told me straight up, 50-50 chance. And just because he was humble, I said yes. So once I said yes, you start the process for the transplant. And that was a pain. So like a full year, my parents drove me into the city getting tests done. The worst test I had to deal with was when they had to stick needles in my face and forearms and palms on my hands just to see the nerves were working. And while the needles are in there in your skin, like down to your muscle, you have to talk and then move your muscle. So you're basically feeling a needle pull out your muscle. And that's not fun. You know, that was the worst one. All the other stuff was like basic doctor stuff, and they basically knew the insides of me. And now for the surgery, I passed. And then when I got on the list, that's when COVID hit. And that stopped the process, but it slowed down the process to finding a donor. And I went back to just walking. My doctor told me I had to lose weight because I got comfortable at my parents' house and gained a lot of weight, like 20 pounds, because you just lay on my couch all day with Buster. So I gained 20 pounds. And my doctor's like, well, you gotta lose weight to get this surgery because you have to build the muscle up to be healthy and for it to take, and a lot of medical stuff to it. So I lost it. I walked in the woods at like Born Park around here. So basically during COVID, I had a hike to work out to lose weight. So I wasn't able to pick up anything because my fingertips are amputated off. So I couldn't pick up barbells and nothing like that. Didn't want to do band work because it's just my arm got too strong for the bands, and many times being do bands, I wasn't a fan of it. So I just did cardio, and that's what I do nowadays is a lot of cardio. I have wrist wraps that my mom modified for me so I can have like a padding around it so it doesn't hurt my hands. So just a lot of deadlifts and cardio I've been doing recently. And so when it took about a year and a half to find a donor. It went by pretty quickly, and I was just on my phone playing a game. My mom was in her room, my dad was out golfing. Got the call, dad rushed back, picked us up onto New York City. And basically the next morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, a doctor comes in asking me, "You ready?" I told him yes, and let's start now. He got nervous because he wasn't expecting me to be ready at 5 o'clock in the morning. He expected me to chicken out, tell him to wait. I was like, no, let's get it over with. And so he told me to wait. I had to wait about 2 more hours. Meanwhile, when you get surgery, you can't eat. So I think my last meal I had was like spaghetti and sausage. And that was my last meal going to the surgery. And you're hungry, grumpy going in. They wheelchaired me, which I wasn't a fan of. I wanted to walk in because to me, when I got wheelchaired in, I felt nothing. Which you're not supposed, you're supposed to feel something, but I felt like emptiness going into the surgery, which was, weird to me. I wanted to walk, I wanted to feel something, and my parents said their goodbyes. I got wheeled into the surgery. I kind of like surgery because it's a cold room. It's like 65 degrees in there, and that's how I like it. I like it ice cold and to sleep. And it's the best sleep you get. So that's why I like surgeries. It's cold and you sleep really good. All the nurses are super nice. All the doctors are nice. Just a good energy in the room, and that's what you really need. I had one small surgery my doctor did, and he wasn't there for it. The energy was kind of off, and I didn't really like it that time. And so I told him about hey, this doctor here wasn't too good. And after that, it was really nice. Although the nurses got some stuff in. It was good. I did my surgery. They had me sedated for about half a week to a week after the surgery, just so I wouldn't move, and I guess, damaged the product. And waking up from that was a lot worse than my burns. Because waking up from the transplant surgery, all my nerves were growing back on my hands, so it felt like cats clawing at my palms. And that's not good. That's not a fun time. The cats clawing the palms. And on top of that, as soon as I woke up, occupational therapy came in, and as soon as the occupational therapy is a hand therapist, they get on your love because no one really cares about the hands until they don't work no more. So they jumped on me instantly, worked on my hands for about 4 or 5 hours. So I got no breaks, but then OT switched in and out, they got their breaks. So I had to work 4 hours, 5 hours straight with hand pain. I can't take any medications to get rid of the hand pain because I'll just fall asleep from it because it's a strong medication. And then as soon as I was done with OT, PT, and physiotherapy, because once again, I wasn't able to walk. Because if you sleep for like 3 days straight, you lose the ability to walk, I guess. Because I was a week out, and I couldn't walk, so I had to relearn to walk again for the third time. That's, but NYU, where I got the surgery, they're a lot more equipped for physical therapy, so I was up and walking a lot quicker than the Jersey hospitals. So that was a plus. So I got PT out of the way quickly. And basically, it was just occupational therapy's my job. I was at that point working hand exercising for about 8 hours a day. And then I had doctors coming on top of that, like poking me, sticking me needles. So it was pretty hectic in there. My parents came every day to see me. It was also during COVID, so only 2 people were allowed at the time. That was a special perk I had because of my doctor, because he was the chief of plastics, so he has a lot of pull there. So both people were allowed in, both parents were allowed in. That was nice to see them. They brought me food because honestly, if it wasn't for them bringing food inside, I probably wouldn't have done that good because hospital food, it just doesn't do it. And you need a lot of like protein at that time to like get back to working and just be healthy. You need a lot of protein. They don't give you a lot of food, so I needed that extra food there. And like the food's good. It's the best hospital food you can get, but just it just doesn't do it. And that's their time too. It's not your time. And there's times where I didn't get to eat because I was, doing my hand therapy, so that's not fun. So I was about NIU for, I'd say like a month and a half. And once I was done with the rehab side, it was around like Christmas time. I went in August of 2020, August 12th when it came out. Actually around Thanksgiving, they sent me to an apartment across the street from the hospital. And I had to live there for a month. And New York City is not for me. I need a garage and I need a driveway in the backyard. And on top of it, when you walk the dogs in New York City, their paws get super dirty and it's just a mess. So we're not city people. We like the backyards, chill them out. So I had to go to OT every day basically for 3 to 4 hours again. And it's just nonstop OT, so that gets super tiring. So I was in this apartment for a month. After that, I had to go back to my parents' house. And then they took me into the city about 3 times a week to see OT, so the OT never stopped. Once my story came out, was published, I got a bunch of people followed me on Instagram last I wanted to see my story and try to talk to me, and then that's where I found my wife now. I DM'd her about her dog, saying I like your dog because we have the same breed Boston Terrier. Mine's brown and white, hers is black and white. And I always tell her till this day, if it wasn't for your dog, I wouldn't have DM'd you because I don't DM people, but just because she had that dog, you have to have a unique personality to have a Boston. And so I DM'd her, and it was just natural. She came out here to Jersey because she's from LA, but was working at the Cleveland Clinic to get a better pasta on her resume. She did a travel nurse assignment in New York City. We got an apartment together, so we moved back at my parents' house with her. So that was a huge goal for me, was to move out because I want to be independent. So I did that, got a girlfriend, and we recently just got married in December 5th, we got married. Yeah, it's kind of Hawaii, so that was like a mixture of like a wedding and honeymoon. The reason why I picked Hawaii is because I'm from Jersey, she's from LA, and it's just to make it easy for everyone, so no one has to travel. We just pick our favorite place. That was our third time going to Hawaii. We've been to Honolulu, Maui, and back to Honolulu, just because she was doing like travel nursing, so her went to Hawaii. I'm not a travel guy, but since I met her, I turned into when she picks the location, I pick the rental cars. And so that's my fun with cars, because I'm a car guy at heart, I still am. Getting into an accident didn't change the view of cars for me. But now like we had a house together. We're going to LA in end of April, so after that, we might get another dog and just move on with the life from there. Everything's kind of set in stone right now with everything. And after our last trip, not our last trip, but after this big trip is 2 weeks, getting a dog and see what happens from there. And that's my story.
Class, get your questions out because I know you all had to write them down. Mustafa.
All right. I heard from someone that you had like a really nice car. Can I ask what car it was?
It was a 2013 Dodge Challenger RT. It just had a heavy engine. I wanted a Hellcat but couldn't afford it. And all I did to was 1-2 headers and a Catalyst straight pipe. I don't recommend Catalyst in Jersey.
All right, next question. North. What did you say?
Do you feel your hands the same way as they felt before, or does it feel different?
So the hands are different. So if I'm looking at something, I can feel the texture to it. But once I look away, I lose the texture of it, if that makes sense. Like same thing with my face. I had like full feeling like in my face with like hands or like a pillar or blanket, but when I go to a doctor's office, they'll touch me with like a fishing line string and a feather. And there's some parts I can't feel it and some parts I can. And it's kind of awkward because like no one's gonna touch you in real life with a fishing line string or a feather. But that's the medical world.
You have the same control, he's asking.
No, not the same control or dexterity. So the way my doctor did it, the way he tightened my ligaments up, or tendons, whatever they call it, it's so I can like do a lot more pulling than more like dexterity stuff, like picking up things. So I can do like bigger picture stuff, but like if I drop my credit card around the floor, it'll be a long time for me to pick it up.
Next question. Good.
You said you deadlifted a lot, right? What's your max?
Well, max is probably like 550 back in the day. Now it's, I think there's a video online of me leg pressing over 400 after the surgery. But now like deadlifting, it's under 100 because of my hands. But I can still deadlift 445.
That's impressive.
Next.
How did your dog react to your injury?
So Buster knew me right away when I was burned. He actually got to visit me in the Green Rehab. I'm guessing because of the smell, but as soon as I got home back to my parents' house, he knew me. He was a little too excited, he scraped up my legs, but that was fine for me. And then when I got my transplant surgery, he actually came to the hospital and they filmed it. And there was like probably like 30 people behind the camera, which they don't tell you that until you sign the paperwork. There's gonna be a lot more people behind the camera, so it's awkward. So there's about 30 people in the room. and he came directly to me, which that was super nice, but they didn't post that video or on that documentary or nothing like that. They had it, but they don't give it to me.
Other questions?
How much of the surgeries cost?
So it was a research project. So the transplant surgery alone was like for free, but like I have to pick up like the medication bill, co-pays, and little like here and like things here and there. Like it adds up.
Lucas and then Brendan.
Are Boston Terriers your favorite dog breed?
Yeah, I would say yeah, but I also like Bruno's pit bulls. I would say like Bruno's and Boston like top one too.
Do you still have the same job you did before you got in the accident, or do you have a different one?
I know I don't have the same job. I have a clothing company now, and I'm also writing a book, so that's my job now. But I don't go into that job. I physically can't do it because of my hands, and then I just wouldn't want to go back there because of the hours.
Other questions? Go.
Is it hard to see photos of yourself?
It's hard to see. I can't see text from far away, so that's why I have glasses. Like my sunglasses are prescription because just because when I drive, I also have astigmatism, but that was before the accident. So basically, my sunglasses like kill like a lot of birds with one stone, especially for driving.
And what about looking at old photos of yourself?
Oh, old photos? It doesn't bother me. I post a lot of stuff online with old pictures of myself. Honestly, I miss the jawline and the skinny face. I miss that. And also waking up. If I eat like last night, my wife she ordered ice cream at like 9:30 at night without me knowing, so I would have said no. Because I had come to this. I woke up puffy this morning. So like my ears were swollen, eyes woke up a little puffy, just because I had ice cream late at night. So that's like the pieces I miss on my face.
Does the weather affect how your face or body feels?
Oh yeah, what it does affect, the heat affects it a lot more. So like when I go on vacations, we tend to go on off season. One, because no one's there, and then two, because of me, because still the sunlight and the heat. That's why I wear like these gloves are usually protecting. These sleeves are usually protecting for the forearms. And I also wear like hat and like sunscreen. I also have a gaiter when I was in Hawaii. Because the sunlight also reflects off the water, and that can cause rejection. So I learned that one the hard way, being in the pool and stuff.
Other than like your touch, your other senses?
No, everything's good. Nothing internal is damaged, and like just the eyes are affected from from the burn. Definitely.
What else? Over here, have
We still have kids.
Oh yeah, good, yeah.
others?
Do you still drive?
Yeah, I still drive. Driving's one of my passions. I drive my wife's car, but once I have enough money, I want to get my own car.
Other questions? Yep.
Do you still feel pain at all after your surgery?
Pain?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I still have pain. And I'm not like eating like ice cream at night like that. It also causes inflammation like in your hands and face. So like whenever I have inflammation in my hands, they hurt. Like so they hurt this morning. It's a burning pain. There's like multiple types of pain. There's burning, pins and needles, like stabbing, that's nerve. And there's a rejection pain, and the rejection pain's the worst. That's like when I can't hold my toothbrush and like hairbrush, and that's when I had to text my doctor, say I'm in rejection pain, he takes me to the hospital.
Do you have to take medicine for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I take anti-rejection medications. I take about 4 or 5 pills of anti-rejection meds, and then the rest are electrolytes because the rejection med takes away all the electrolytes and everything like that.
Do you know how many face replacement surgeries have there been since like years?
The one way I know that got done recently was my doctor did a face and eye transplant, and I met him actually. I was leaving a doctor's appointment, and I met him on the street, Aaron. And I was talking to him before the surgery because he asked questions, and I told him the real stuff, and he did it, and now he likes it, and we still like chat here and there. But that's the most recent one that I know of.
Mustafa?
When did you graduate LJ?
2016.
Did you enjoy it?
What?
Did you enjoy LJ?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah. It was a lot of good teachers.
Can I ask you a good teacher?
My favorite one,
Not many of them are left. Like, some of them aren't even here anymore.
Miss Yolak, probably my second.
She's here.
She's here. She's here. She's
Uh,
actually here.
hi.
Yes, she's left.
Connor?
What's your favorite sports?
My favorite sports team?
Favorite sports.
Favorite sports?
Football and hockey. I'm a Saints fan and a Bruins fan.
You just broke his heart.
What about
Have you
baseball?
interacted at all with your donor's family?
Yankees and
There we
no. I wrote them a letter saying my condolences and how grateful I am to have a second chance with his face and hands, but they didn't reach out to me. I don't know if that's because NYU told them get me on camera, which I don't want that because that's kind of awkward, you know. It's an important moment in their lives and my life, and I want to be alone with it. But I'm always open to see them. I always tell them online I'm down for whatever.
No. What? Oh. Do you have pain other than your hands and face?
I don't know. I actually have no pain on my face, which is interesting because I met 3 other face transplants before my surgery, and they all had pain in their face. I never did. And the new guy, he'll have it here and there, but not like the extent like those people did.
Other questions?
Were there any hobbies that you couldn't do after your surgery?
Yeah, basically a lot. I was an outdoors guy. I always do something outdoors. I always have my hand busy. And like now, the only thing I can still do that I like is like play pool, drive cars, cooking I like to do. It's basically, yeah, I have to stay inside a lot. I tried building a Lego car, but that took too long for me. It got boring after a while. I needed help most of the time, so I just gave that up. I built it, but I have a GTR in my closet I have to build, but I'm not gonna get that anytime soon.
Yeah.
How is your immune system affected? Can you still eat the same foods you were eating before, or is there certain that you can't eat?
Yeah, so my immune system is down, so I can get sick a lot easier, but pretty cautious. I don't get sick a lot. My wife got COVID, but I didn't, and we lived in an apartment at the time, so that was impressive for me. And then the only things I can't eat are like cranberries, pomegranate, and grapefruits, and that just messes with the transplant medication, like tachylitis. So that's like one of the big ones.
Brandon, and then over here.
Is the swelling in your face gonna stay that way, or is it never?
I know the swelling was gone completely. There's no time limit for it. Everyone's different. It could take up to 2 months for some people, other like 10 years. Since I am 80% burned, it does affect my lymphatic system, so it has to be manually drained out, which it's not a fun massage. It's painful. There's this lady that reached out to me, but she lives in California, and she's the only one that can do it correctly. So I've gone to multiple lymphatic therapists, and it went backwards. I got more swollen the way they did it, and then this lady, she'll do it every time she comes to New York City, and it works. It comes down by centimeters. It's not a lot, but like when it has to be manually drained out, so it's only once in a blue moon I get it.
There's a question over here. Yep.
When you were lifting, you were here.
What?
When you were lifting, were you mad?
Oh yeah, no. So I want to do steroids obviously because I like Arnold and Rich Fashana. I don't know if you guys know Rich Fashana. He's kind of old. And with his son, it was not natural. He had a lot of steroids, and so honestly, I wanted to do it. But at that time, I kind of said no. And then when I turned 18, I realized how much it cost. And then you have to maintain it, and that's, so I did that though. So just I stayed natural, eat the chicken.
Other questions? Raph, then we'll go next.
When you drove for the first time after, how was that like? Were you scared?
I wasn't scared. I drew my wife's car at the Subaru Cross Track, so nothing like dangerous or, it was a safe